Hang on, I had my finger up.
Yeah, but was it this topic? Was it this topic, man?
No, it was the previous topic, which I was clarifying some information with, because you know me. Delap is on £5,200,000 a year, which is £100,000 a week. That's too expensive for us.
To be
paying a player like that. Honestly, people are mistaken to think every player's on 120 grand. They're not.
No, they're not.
Right? And to put him on 100 grand a week, to put a failure on 100 grand a week will piss off a lot of players at Forest. There's players on a 60, 70,000 pound a week thinking you brought that pile of crap in who's not scored a goal.
He comes in and does the job, man. Why are you so negative that he's not going to do the job? Why would we spend money on players if we don't expect him to do?
Rob, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying he's failed. And you want to give him £100,000 plus a week?
You put no context into his failure, and I have. And you put no. You've just said he's failed. He scored one goal, and you've not looked into the management issues, but how awful Chelsea were that season. We lost 7 in a row when they came to us.
You don't play a player £100,000 a week that's only scored 1 goal in the last year, no matter what the circumstance. You don't do it unless you're an idiot. I'm not saying you're an idiot. I'm saying that Forest would be idiots to do it. That would make him one of the highest paid players at our club. It would put him as one of the highest paid players at our club, behind only the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White and probably Murillo.
And
you want to give him that?
Much? That's the question. So if Wood exits,
if you got rid of Chris Wood, I would rather have Delap than Wood. Okay,
Wood's so yes, Wood's one of our highest paid players as well.
Pardon?
Wood is one of our highest.
Yeah, I know. That's why I would swap him. Because he's on about 90 grand, is he, supposedly?
110.
Yeah, but they are the highest paid by a long way.
If Wood was out of contract right now, who would offer him another year?
No, nobody would.
I think he'd have to drop down to the Championship, to be honest.
I heard there was interest from Nuno. Yeah, and look, I would not mind Chris Wood leaving as long as it's not to another Premier League club. Because, God, if he goes to a Premier League club, just sod's law is he'll do well and he'll score against us. I don't want one of the promoted sides to take him. Do you know what I mean? But if maybe I think the problem with the Championship, I'm not sure that's good for him carrying the burden of being a main striker in the Championship with all the extra games. I think that the problem is I don't think he can carry the burden of being the main striker at Forest. And I don't think he's a super sub either. So it's difficult. I want him to be successful. And I think that he holds himself to very high standards. You know, he's worked very hard to rehabilitate himself. But the Premier League is so cruel. It's so brutal. And you can't be going into it with somebody who's not fizzing at peak physical fitness. If you acknowledge that there's a weakness and you're going into the season not addressing that weakness, you're going to regret it.
But that would be ironic because I don't know if you guys saw Glasner's interview on TalkSport, but they asked him what the expectations were from Marinakis. And he specifically said that they need to finish in the top half of the table and hinted that they should probably go far in Europe. So if that's the expectation of the board and Marinakis, then surely we need the players to back him up.
Well, you need to be bringing in someone of obviously we won't get him, but Mateta level or something like that if that's your ambition.
Obviously we won't get him.
But I think that
it's been denied that Forest are going after him.
I think
I'm not saying we are, but why is it obvious we won't get him? As if he's too good.
I think because Glasner, he said, "I'm not going to try and poach all my old players from West Ham," and I think that I think that even Parish might have some standards, and I think his own fans would lynch him if they sold Mateta.
I don't think he'd be bothered about that.
You think, well,
he wouldn't be bothered about Palace fans, would he?
There was a good shout in the comments there about Dusan Vlahovic. Now, obviously, wages again, but he's the sort of player that could get you in the top 10.
No.
Can I just? Sorry, I'm sorry to bang on about this, but I am absolutely staggered by you four's opinion of Delap being worth 100 grand a week. Nico Dominguez is on 35 grand a week. And you think that Delap's worth 100? Come on,
no,
guys. Nico Williams is on 60 grand a week, and you think you're going to bring this guy in for 100? It ain't going to. I'm telling you, it's not happening.
No one said that.
All right, do you want me to find out the strikers and how much they're on?
Yeah.
I know that.
My point is, I don't care how much he's on a week. You're
not understanding it. It's the effect it has on the players in the squad.
We're not going to ever better ourselves if we're going to worry about how much we're paying.
It's not that. It's the players in the squad. Nico Dominguez on 35 grand, and you see this fucking bloody cart horse coming on 100 grand.
Why are you causing division before? Why are you?
Wait, hold on. Dominguez is not on 35 grand. He's just signed a new contract. That was his old contract.
Get with the times, man. That's
what's he on now then? 40.
No, I don't know how much.
I'm sure he's doubled his wages.
People think that footballers at Premier League clubs, they think they're all on Chelsea wages and Man U wages. They're not, right? So when you get a player from Chelsea or from Man U, you've got a problem because you're having to match that massive, outrageous and ridiculous wage.
You know
what
he's
is
not going to take a pay drop
about that? If you were buying Delap from another club, like say from Fulham, his wages would be 30 grand a week, mate. I'm telling you. His wages would be 30 grand a week. But he's coming from Chelsea. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, but do you respect Ezra's
why are you so worried about it? Why are you so worried about how much he's getting paid?
Because I know what effect it'll have on the rest of the team. I've seen it before. When a player comes in on a massive wage, all the other players start sulking. I've seen it.
You're doing what you accused Rob of doing last season.
I've been watching football for 50 years and I've seen it. I'm not predicting like people having conversations. I'm saying what I've witnessed in my time.
But this is just derailed the whole debate because you've just gone down this matter-of-factly route that this is going to happen. And I'm saying
no, I didn't say that. I said it could cause problems. You
absolutely have. Don't say that you haven't.
I said it could cause problems, Ed. What are you trying to argue for? What are you trying to sow discontent in the pod for?
You're doing it in the dressing room before the players even come in. You're saying it's going to cause discontent in the dressing room before you even know what players' wages are.
Have you not seen it before?
I do think that
strikers, I'm not going to dwell on it.
Let's move on.
Strikers are on a different pay scale. I do think that strikers are on a different pay scale. They get paid a lot more than, I
get that, but that doesn't mean that somebody like Nico Dominguez or somebody like Nico Williams aren't going to turn around and say, "Why he's on 3 times what I'm on?" Because he's only scored 1 goal in last year.
Yeah, but that's
if we were buying him from a Championship club or from a lower Premier League club, and we were getting him for 25 million and paying him 30 grand a week, okay, it's worth a go. But not if you're paying 45 million at Chelsea one and you're paying him over 100 grand a week. He ain't. All right,
hold on. I think Ez raised an interesting point that I want to put to you and maybe bring the other boys in as well. He said, so what do we do here? Like, if Forest can attract a player that will improve us, forget Delap for now, forget the name Delap. But if a player wants to come in and demands 150 grand, would you say you don't want that player?
No, of course not. But if it's worth it, the other players will accept it. They accept, like Morgan Gibbs White is on a lot more than anybody else. They accept that. But they're not going to accept a cart horse who's not scored a goal in a year.
Subjective opinion, then.
Yeah, of course it is. Isn't that what the show's about?
But then that would be up to the
about opinion.
No, but I'm saying you can't state that if Delap, you may find out half the Forest players, like loads of them played with him in the England under-21s, didn't they? They may rate him highly and say, yeah, I understand that Forest are going to pay 100k for him because he has X, Y, and Z quality.
Which players played in the under-21s with him?
At the time, it was Anderson. You had McAtee.
He's not a player at Forest, mate. He don't play for Forest.
Okay, you had McAtee in there. You had Hutchinson in there. They pretty much made up that midfield, didn't they?
McAtee and Hutchinson were both on good wages. So they were
okay. Are they worth their wages? Should players like that be getting a pay cut? McAtee did nothing last year. Anyway, I don't want to. I don't want to get involved in this one. But
you look. So hang on a sec. You despise Delap. You don't want him. So don't come that high and mighty with me, mate. You don't want Delap.
I was the one who said I wanted Delap 3 weeks ago.
You do not want Delap.
Shall I run the old tape back?
No. I speak to you offline. You do not want Delap.
I want Delap.